Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 94 of the Showbound podcast. I'm your host, Michael Raskin, here as always with Ethan Cardwell. Cards, you got the new pod setup going. What's going on, bud?
Yeah, bro. This is so weird. And typically like before our episodes, like I'm just gonna preface what we're doing here
Yeah,
for all the listeners and everyone that who's been waiting and like listening to this episode. We really appreciate you for sticking around so long. Not Rask's fault at all that we took a break. I'm gonna take full blame for this. I had a huge end of the stretch of the season and stuff, and just really needed to focus on hockey and everything like that. And we'll get into what was going on and stuff like that later in the episode. But no, we normally talk a little bit and catch up off air, but today we've gone straight into it. Decided to keep this one free flowing and just catch up in person because it's been a while, Rask. So how are things, buddy?
yeah, things are good. I mean, I'm in full off-season mode. Like my hockey seasons with the Falcons and with Brock ended much before yours, but it's been good. Couple a fun thing that happened today actually. I saw this commercial when I was watching the Leafs game that Tim Hortons has the new like these Oreo collaboration drinks, and they got this double stuffed Oreo ice cap, and I got it this morning. Now Cards knows this a bit, but I'm in on a big Oreo kick lately. Like you see me doing this. Like I get these Oreos, the big maximum filled ones, and I dip them in my coffee in the morning. Sometimes I send Cardsy the video because you know what? Let me even go further into this.
That's a good. That's a good. We have so many young hockey players listening to this, and that's exactly how you want to train if you want to be a GM, guys.
Well,
Not
I'll tell
not
I'll
if you
tell
want to
you
be the
this.
player.
Hey, Brennan Othman has McFlurries before games. He said it on our podcast, so look at him.
No, this is
Um, but man, what? How else are you gonna? You start the day with a smile. You get dip an Oreo in your coffee. Like, how are you not gonna be happy after that? But anyway, I tried this drink this morning. From Tim's, the new double stuffed ice cap or whatever. Like, it was awesome. So, I feel like we've done a couple free Tim's ads throughout our 94 episodes, but um, yeah. So I'm just on the Oreo thing. Like, I'm already making Oreo coffees for myself in the morning, so it felt like it was perfect for me.
Yeah, that's funny. You're nuts, man. I never heard of anyone starting their day like that. But no, like you said, like Falcons and stuff are done. So you're in full off season mode, but you're still living out in Niagara, yeah?
Yeah, I'm here for the summer. Got a lot going on here. But what about this shirt? What about this shirt for those who don't?
That is elite.
Yeah, for those who
That is
can
incredible.
see this, I got a custom San Jose Cardwell shirt, 56 on the back. So I mean, well, we can get right into this first. I mean, you signed with the San Jose Sharks since the last episode we put out. So NHL
Yeah.
signed player right here. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, like I mean, I guess we could go right into that because yeah, like I mean, that was part of the thing. Like, I mean, as everyone knows, like as a player drafted, that's obviously your end goal is to sign a contract. So for me, it was like just like kind of put my nose to the pavement time, really just dial it in, do everything I can, all the little things, and going towards playoffs and building towards that. And yeah, just looking to do everything that I can to put the best foot forward when I stepped on the ice each night. And lucky enough, I was awarded with a little bit of a cookie and a contract there from San Jose, but
Little bit.
it was incredible, man. Yeah, no, it was probably one of the coolest phone calls I've ever gotten in my life. Just to and it was actually funny because I was in the shower and it was just like my off day or something. We were waiting. We had a couple days off in between games, and my agent calls, and he obviously I didn't pick up. I was in the shower. He calls my parents. Like they can't get a hold of me. No one could get a hold of me for like I had a nice 20-minute shower going on, getting the hair going, singing in the shower, all that. But then I come out and he goes, "You're probably gonna want to call me," and gives me the good news. But yeah, it was a little bit like, "Are you for real right now? Or are you just pulling my leg?" But once it all kind of sunk in that it was like legit and it was going to go down and stuff, I was super excited, and my family was real excited too. And then the actual signing day itself was pretty special, just to be able to share it with like my girlfriend, my family, my agent came up, and my billets there at their place. So we did a little thing for me there, and it was pretty incredible night. And then had a few of the boys over from the team as well. So all in all, it was a bit of a whirlwind for like 3 or 4 days, getting it all done and stuff. And then when it was finally done, and just to be able to sit back, relax, and kind of just enjoy it with family and friends, it was special.
Yeah, it was so cool, like to finally see it happen. But I can't believe I saw you in Hamilton and you didn't tell me, and you knew at that point.
Yeah, but then I wasn't like, it was just coming to fruition. And I'm, you know me, I'm a big, like, I don't ever
You don't
like to
want to
say
jinx it.
anything about, yeah, like I'm not a superstitious guy, but I'm like, I'm never going to say anything before it happens. And like, it's like, it's a good thing. And I learned my lesson the hard way actually as a kid. It was like every time I'd play like a lower end team in hockey as a cocky little like 8 or 9 year old, I would say to my parents or whoever would listen to me, "Oh yeah, I'm playing this team. It's time for, I'm getting a hat trick tonight." And then sure enough, I'd go out there, probably be dash two, maybe get a secondary apple and call it a night. But I was, ever since then, it's always stuck with me. Never say anything before it happens. So I mean, that was part of the reason why there. And who knows, you might have spilt the beans. So gotta gotta keep it quiet.
Yeah, well, oh man,
No, but
it was.
you picked the right game to come to.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We'll go into your playoffs, the Colts playoffs, and the OHL playoffs later on. I got a bit of an outline going. I haven't even shared it with you, but I'll kind of like we'll get into that. Even I guess before we'll kind of somewhat go chronologically here. But what for those, I guess this will come out probably Wednesday, but we're recording Monday night. The draft lottery just happened. So we want to talk about Chicago getting the first overall pick. Connor Bedard gonna go there. Um, like what are your thoughts on this? I mean, the funny thing was like you check Twitter, like they leaked the Columbus pick before the commercial break, the third pick. Did you see that?
Yeah, it was, well, yeah, weeks. All of a sudden, like nothing had happened, and he goes, "Yeah, Columbus at 3, so it's down to Anaheim or Chicago now." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So
Oh
that
man.
probably wasn't
So
ideal. Like,
well, the NHL is getting ripped because I mean everyone. I think everyone knows it's pre-recorded. Like they do the lottery before, and then the show. Like it's not a live. I mean, the show might be live, but it's the results aren't live. That's what I'm trying to say.
no,
Um,
exactly. Like those things are preset, like in the order and everything like that.
Yeah, but it was a tough look, and I feel bad for Columbus because I know Columbus had a massive like party because they were right in the hunt
Yeah,
for number one, right? They
yeah.
had the second highest odds, so then their whole thing got completely ruined. Their party got ruined. They announced them without even flipping the thing before the commercial break. They just to sit there through the commercial break and wait, like so it kind of just like ruined it for a lot of people. But um,
I,
I mean,
I
it's
feel
good for
bad
it's
for
good
that
for
fan base,
Bedard to
man.
be in a big market. It's good for Bedard to be in a big market, like where eyes are going to be on him. And yeah, like no matter where he goes, it's not like he's going to go away, drift into the wind. Like he's going to be good wherever he goes. But at least he'll get the attention that he deserves, probably, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, like completely agree with it. Like, obviously, I would have liked to see San Jose be able to snatch him, but they got 4. But like on that front of you and that, it's an original 6 team. It's a huge market. It's a team who's been unbelievable for so many years, and they've kind of gone into this lull. Um, and who better than Connor to save the day, right? So I think I think it kind of plays into all aspects of the NHL, and it's good for the game. And I'm sure he'll be happy. I'm sure, obviously, as a player who's been drafted myself, you're happy to go anywhere. Um, but I'm sure he probably had his eye on Chicago being an original 6 team, or maybe San Jose, so he could come hang out with the Showbound boys.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to go to California, man? But I want to talk
No,
some NHL playoff stuff. I got a couple notes on it, but even first, before we get into it, just because I'm checking here, I forgot to ask is going back to you signing. Have you bought anything yet?
the most famous question in all of the pod.
Yeah.
The one we ask all the time. So now it's my turn. Honestly, man, I haven't bought anything yet. I've gotten like some family members and friends like take them out for dinner and stuff like that. Just kind of say like, hey, like, thanks for putting up with me and my whole career all those times, and just to kind of repay them. Um, Nothing will ever repay how much like everyone's done for me. So also like all my fans and family and friends who are listening to this, and if we haven't talked already, I just want to say thank you to all you guys as well. But yeah, I haven't done anything outrageous yet. um I like to save my money, so I don't know what I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking about treating myself to some nice suits. I gotta look good. Um, gotta up the style game, um, and get looking good for next year. So I'm thinking maybe suits.
Yeah, suits are always a good pick. I'm a big suit guy. Like I love my suit game, but especially you, like every time you walk into a rink next year, there's gonna be a camera, right? Like you want, and you're gonna have to, you gotta
Hmm.
mix and match like the dress shirt and tie combo so you can make the one suit seem like it's five different suits. Like you gotta get that going, you
Oh,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get the wardrobe dialed in. I won't be dressing funky like I would sometimes in Barrie in my first year pro.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, moving on, a couple of NHL playoff stuff. Well, firstly, um, a future guest that we're gonna have after the playoffs, Zach Dalpe, who we've had on before. Um, the
Our
guy's
boy.
light and he's sick for Florida. And actually, even before that, so because we haven't talked of it, so me and Dolphs have gotten like a lot closer, I guess, over the last couple months. And I actually met him in person in Toronto and hung out with his dad and his friends and stuff. Like, so that was pretty cool. Um, couple of times I've been able to actually meet someone in person that I've met, you could say in quotes, like on the podcast first. It's happened a few times now,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. But then um Dolphs gets the call up to Florida and he's playing every game, scored a huge goal against Boston. Um, like he's on a tear. So are the Florida Panthers, unfortunately for me and my Leafs, but like I can't wait. I can't wait for this episode with Dolphs to hear all about this stuff, like knocking off the Bruins. Um, Getting in every game here, like he's buzzing. It's gonna be a cool one, but like what do you make, I guess, of this Florida Panthers team?
Well, firstly, I just want to talk about Dolps a little bit himself. Like, this
Yeah.
is a guy who played pro for however many years now. Like, you even had the
14, I believe.
shirt made up. Yeah, you even had the shirt made up of him. Like, another year, another clear on waivers. Like, a guy who's been through it all in all leagues. So to see this guy getting rewarded in literally the biggest time in arguably, like, if Florida goes on a deep run, like best playoff run in Florida Panthers history, arguably Stanley Cup history, if they can
Yeah.
do it, like finish off and keep going. But just to see the success he's having, like he's playing such an impact in such a big role. He's on an overtime. Like it's such a feel good story to see a guy like that who's like he's almost like finally breaking through at this stage in his career to get like this opportunity and this shot. And that like I'm over the moon for him. So if Dolps is listening, I'm sure he's too busy to be listening right now. But no, I'm super excited for his episode. And the Florida Panthers as a whole, they're playing some unbelievable hockey right now. Like you go down 3-1 to the Bruins, everyone thinks it's over. You have to steal 2 games in the Garden. They do that. They somehow win in 7 against the President's Cup trophy winners in the Bruins. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, whatever. The magical run's over. Toronto's year. They got through the first round. And then boom, 3 straight. And it's not like they've done it like on luck and stuff like that. I know Samsonov went out of the game in game 3 like that, but they've played really good hockey and their big guns are stepping up for them. And yeah, they're buying in as a team and everybody's playing as a unit. And to top it all off, they might have arguably one of the best. I I think McDavid and Draisaitl on a different level right now in the way that they played in the last few years, but Matthew Tkachuk is arguably the best player going right now.
Yeah, he's up there, man. I mean, Kachuk, he's built for the playoffs, like the way those guys play. And even Brady Kachuk, when Ottawa eventually does get in, like he plays even more that style. Like those guys are just built different, man. But you know what? Like for you, even going into your pro career now, like it's not the way you played the game, but there's elements where you can, take lessons from those guys. You see how successful they get when it matters the most. Like there's a lot to learn from guys like that, and you see how valuable they become. But um, even just like Dolphs being Dolphs, like this guy's the funniest guy. After game one in Toronto when Florida won, I texted him. I was like Leafs in 5, and he's just like haha, like laughing, like texting back and forth, and he goes, oh yeah, like guess who asked about you this morning? I was like, I don't know who. Like he's like absolutely nobody. Go Cats. You roasted me, man.
That is awesome, man. I feel like he is the type of guy though. he could run his mouth all day, and he's so witty with that stuff. So that, of course, he would say that. But also, I wanted to talk about quickly. And now I completely forget what was coming to my head. I had a great idea that flashed through my head, and now it's gone. So I don't really know what to tell you here. But
Oh,
I
shoot.
wanted to other than that though, I wanted to touch a bit on Seattle. I don't know if you
Yeah, I
had
got
that noted
Seattle in the
down at
notes
all.
here.
Let me get your take on the Seattle Kraken because they're a team without, arguably without any like superstars on their team or yet. Beniers, obviously, a couple young guys there, maybe, but yeah, what do you think of them and what they're doing right now?
Yeah, so I like the makeup of Seattle's team, and conversely, like the Leafs, who you could say are superstar loaded up front, you see the differences in their play. The thing with Seattle, and I like this as a guy, as a manager in hockey, like building teams and stuff. Seattle has four lines that can all roll and can all score, and so does Edmonton this year. Although they're getting a lot of scoring from their big two guys, like from first to fourth line, they're getting their goals. But teams are effective when you can put anyone out on the ice and yeah, trust them defensively, but that they can get you goals. And with Seattle not really having like that big of a difference from first line to third line, even fourth line, like their matchups are all even. Like they could put anybody out against anybody and they'll get the same kind of number of goals. I think the stat was like they didn't have anyone who has over like two goals um in the playoffs or something. Like they were spreading the love so much over
Yeah.
there.
Well,
And it's hard to beat a team like that.
yeah, and the other thing for me too is I feel like a lot of times, like when you have such a star-studded lineup like the Leafs do up front, it's almost like I don't know. It's a very interesting take because you have the fourth and third line who almost sit back and say, okay, these guys are gonna get the job done. They have all season for us, so we can just still do like our defensive role. But that's not the case in the playoffs because these guys are getting such hard matchups and stuff that if you have only stars up front who can only do the scoring, you'll like you get into a little bit of a lull like the Leafs are right now where they're not scoring and they're not winning because of it. Whereas you have a team like Seattle, they have four lines of guys who believe in each other and believe in what they can do. And that's a team who is lethal and a team who's really dangerous because they're playing without any pressure right now as an expansion team coming in the last few years here. And the way they play fast. They play some of the fastest hockey I've seen. They just work four lines, three lines over and over again, and that's why they're winning games right now. And it's really showing that you can be a well-oiled machine and win in this league.
Yeah, I mean, they got their lines rolling and they have a good goalie. And yeah, like the superstar thing might like you might see people start building teams around just like four good lines or three really good lines type of thing. Because at the end of the day, with the salary cap, like you can't again like not to keep bringing up the least, but you can't afford it. They have their four guys making so much money, and you got to spread the rest of the wealth amongst the rest of the team. So you're not going to get these like really good guys. You're getting a couple more fourth liners, maybe sprinkle them on the third line just to balance like the books to support your superstars. But even here's the thing for Leafs fans, man, and I don't know if you've seen any of this, but they're all saying like blow it up, get Matthews and Marner out of there. Like I, even though this is what we're saying about superstars, like at the end of the day, they don't just grow on trees. And when you get one, like I don't think you should be getting rid of them. Yeah, they didn't score in a couple games or whatever, but these guys are the best players in the NHL. They're up there among the top. And I just don't see how you can just get rid of them because you lose a playoff round. Like you can still build around them. It's not like they're getting worse. They're still getting better and better. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. It's hard to ever base somebody off um a few games and it's interesting too at the same time because you have to remember a week ago they were heroes right when they got out of the first round for the first time
Yeah.
so it's crazy how quickly things can change in a fan base and the media how they make it how they may perceive things and make things out to be but if you had asked Leafs fans a week ago they would say this is the team that's going to get it done and now you mentioning the fact that they want to blow it up it's so quick to change. I think you have to really remember what you really truly believe in and not the hype that's going on and the roller coaster of emotions that you're going to go through in a playoff run.
Yeah, it makes me like angry as a Leafs fan, like seeing these guys just turn on the boys so hard, especially when they need the support. Like, how do you think they feel when all they see is everyone telling them they want to get rid of them and stuff? Like, and what that puts them at, where that puts them mentally before going into an elimination game. Like, let's support the boys. Anyway, I'm a frustrated Leafs fan right now, so we can move on.
I can
Um,
tell. I can tell.
um, let's talk some OHL playoffs, and I want to go into this a bit because um, you're coming off the playoff run, and obviously like so many highs and lows in the playoffs. So even just in that first round series against the Bulldogs, um, you guys dominate games 1 and 2, and then on the road you lose games 3 and 4. So you got a 2-2 split. And actually, funny enough, I want to tell this story. Or maybe can you tell this story? It might be funnier from your perspective of when you're playing in the game. I don't remember if it was game 3 or 4, and you see me up on the jumbotron winning $100.
Oh my god, dude, it was actually absurd. So I'm like, and this is bad, right? So I'll go back and preface what like had gone on in the first two games. Anyway, so like first game, like I was like violently ill during game one of the playoffs for us. So like I hadn't got out in bed in like 4 days. I had lost like 8 pounds, 10 pounds. Like it was bad. Anyway, so I missed the game. We win like 10-2 or something in a playoff game. I'm watching on the couch. I'm like, oh my God. Like I didn't know it was gonna be easy. And you start getting ahead of yourself and stuff. So I luckily I returned back and we win again. We win pretty handily again in game two. And I think we got a little bit too comfortable and didn't respect the fact that home ice plays a big factor in playoffs. And we go in there and we're a little bit sluggish in game three, and my legs aren't there. I'm not feeling the greatest, and I'm sitting down, huffing and puffing, and grabbing a bottle of water and whatever. We're all pretty pissed off because we're not playing the same way we did in game one and two, and all of a sudden I hear this like the person announcing like on the jumbotron up, and it's like, all right, yeah, we're joined here by Michael. Um, and then as soon as I hear Michael, I'm like, what? So I'm like thinking because I knew you're at the game, and I'm like, okay, like there's not that many fans here. There can't be that many Michaels here. And I look up, I go, oh my God. And sure enough, it's Rask and his girlfriend doing a love test, a love test of all things on the Jumbotron during my game. And I nudge Veers because obviously Veers knows you. I nudge Veers. I go, look at this guy right now. This is Rask up there. And we just started crying, laughing on the bench. I'm like, how the hell does this guy get in there? And then sure enough, you walk out of there with $100 to the keg. So it was an absolute win for you and an absolute loss for us. Oh, I'm just we're having a terrible game. And then all of a sudden I get to see you win $100 to rub it in.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And then it was funny because yeah, because it was in the TV timeout. So like I guess most of the people on the team were watching. So when I went to go see Marty after the game, your coach, and when I was walking by, half the guys on the team were asking me to take him out to the keg, like Punnet and those boys were like asking for the gift card and stuff. Like it was so funny. But
That was fun.
so yeah, continuing on, going back to game 5 at home. Now I was following your team really closely, and I'm still following the playoffs really closely. I watched every single game. Um not all in person, obviously, like some online, and I was sending you pics and stuff. And game
Mhm.
5, going into that game at home, I imagine everyone in Barry's talking about it. Like, how are you feeling heading into that game, like a pivotal game 5 in the first round?
Well, yeah, like I said, we kind of fell asleep for two games. Didn't really put enough respect on the fact that they had home ice for those two games, three and four, and fell asleep. And we got behind the eight ball and lost those two games. So it was like okay, like reality check here. We really need to dial it back in here, play our game, and things should take care of themselves if we do that. So we just kind of like put on our big boy pants and decided it wasn't going to be easy anymore, and we needed to really go out and get this game 5, or else we were in huge trouble. So we went out and we did a job in game 5. It was very focused. You could tell in the locker room things were we were going to take care of business that night. I don't think there was any doubt in anyone's mind, and we really love playing at home. So for us, it was something that we knew we had to do, and we went out there and got the job done to set ourselves up for a game 6.
Yeah, and something exciting happened in game 5. Anson Thornton scored. Can we talk the goalie for those who
Oh
don't know?
yeah.
Anson Thornton, the goalie for
And
the Barrie Colts. Can you tell me about what, like, from your point of view? Just walk us through this goal.
well, I'm just sitting there on the bench actually, and I had completely like just blanked on that being in game 5. But that was absolutely insane, dude. So it puck comes in on the right side of the ice, and that's where the boards are. And the guy
What's
goes
the
for a
score
hard
at this
rip.
point? By the way, like little context. Was it a 1 goal game or
I,
two? Basically.
I think it might have been a 1 goal game. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Don't quote me. But
Okay.
anyway, um, so puck comes in the right side, gets wrapped around the wall. Guy's going for a hard rim, gets his other guy would get it on the other side, but no. Ant steps out, grabs the puck from the behind the net. Like there's a guy coming at him, and he kind of like makes a move out to the front of his net, and then just launches one right over everyone's head. And I'm like, I look over, I forget who I was sitting beside, and I'm like, this has a chance. And then all of a sudden, it just slowly keeps going and going and going and goes in. And I've never heard a building go so loud in my life. Like it was absolutely incredible. The whole building erupted. Our bench was going nuts. Ants is going nuts. He goes through the train like a player would when he scores a goal. It was just mayhem in there. It was like a zoo. And I absolutely couldn't believe what I had seen. And that's obviously my first time seeing a goalie goal in person, and it's something I'll never forget. That's for sure. It was a very cool moment, and I'm so glad that I was there for it.
Yeah, it was sick. I obviously wasn't there, but seeing it, then the clip kind of went a little viral. Like, and yeah, I wish I could hear the building, but in the video, yeah, you can hear how crazy it was. I wish I was there in person. It would have been sick, but good for him. Um, Game 6 in Hamilton, another game I got to attend. This was the coolest game for me to go to as a fan. I guess, do you want to take it away, or do you not want to talk about yourself in this way? Like, what do you want to do here?
No,
Game
man.
6.
If you're saying it's the coolest moment you've seen as a fan, let's let you take the reins on this one.
All right. So firstly, I say that I asked Cardsy if he wants to talk about it because Cardsy did get a hat trick in this game with the game-winning goal with like a couple seconds left. So it's like I'll hype him up more than he would hype himself up. So game 6 was crazy. Honestly, it was kind of like a college hockey game. Like the crowd was chanting, they were going bananas. Clarkie's getting booed when he touches the puck. But what was crazy was that it was 3-0 Hamilton. And I was like, oh my God, like they're gonna just steamroll the Colts here. Like, what is going on? Like, you guys don't have an answer. It's going to game 7. But the turning point, it was Florian Jacki scores to make it 3-0. And what did he do? He like shushed your bench or something, or he was like doing some big selly in your faces. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, no, that was the kind of the moment we all talked about it after the series.
Yeah, I
It
was
was
like,
like he
that's
gave
gonna
us,
fire the boys up.
yeah, no, a little stare down.
Yeah, so he's doing the celly in the face, and I was like, okay, that's gonna get the boys going. And then what happens after? I think it was Brant Clark, who's dominant all playoffs, gets the goal to make it 3-1. And he does this enormous celly at center ice, right?
Dude, that was one of the craziest things I've seen actually. So like he's taking it like and he's been taking it like physically, mentally from the fans, whatever. He's been
Mhm.
getting it a lot. And we're down 3-0, right? And so
Yeah.
he scores to make it 3-1 late in the second. So like you're still not in the game yet. Like
Yeah.
you're in the game, but you're still like you're on the outside looking in it. And he celebrated as if we had this game in control. he's going asking the crowd for noise, then he's shushing them, and then he's waving at him. It was
Waving the arm.
nuts.
And it
Um,
was at center ice. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is he doing? Like, because then I figured that's gonna fire up the Bulldogs even harder, right?
yeah. So
It
I'll
was
let you take it from there, but that was wild.
Yeah, and then so yeah, go into the third period, whatever, and then Cardsy takes over. You had 1 goal at that point, right? I think in the second, or were they all in the third?
No, I scored with like I scored the second or I might have scored the third goal. I think I scored the third goal to tie it 3-3 at the end of the second.
Okay, yeah. So whatever it was, yeah. So you had a goal, and I'm sitting beside an NHL scout. By the way, I told you this after. I'm not gonna say the team or whatever, but and I said if San Jose doesn't sign you, he said he's gonna sign you. Do you remember? I told you that after the game. I'm pretty sure I told you that, but I was hyping you up all game to this guy. It was so funny. He's yeah. Anyway, so Cardsy goes, sure enough, gets his second goal of the game, but Hamilton keeps fighting back. It's tied now, and there's I don't know, 15 seconds left on the clock. I'm like, God, this is for sure going to overtime. I had plans after the game. I was like, I don't know, like I'm gonna have to sit through an intermission. This is annoying. And then D zone face off. I don't know, win it back. D chips it out. Cardsy off to the races. Buries the game-winning goal to complete the hat trick with like 9 seconds left, silencing the crowd or whatever, like shushing the crowd, and like all. Oh, even one of the goals before that. Sorry to go back, but what were you doing? Your second goal when you were giving it to this fan in the first row.
Bro, this was actually so like game 6 in Hammer might have been like the craziest like fan interaction game like I've ever been a part of, like
It
with
was
just
awesome to see there.
like they were hostile, like, and like they were saying some out of hand stuff and stuff I obviously can't repeat on this podcast for obvious reasons. And just some of the gestures they were making and stuff. So like I take that stuff personally. Like I hate that stuff. And if somebody's gonna challenge me one on one, especially like a fan, I really want to do everything I can to prove them wrong and kind of like put it back in their face. So when I tied this, like when I scored to make it 3-3, I was like, and I scored right in front of the guy. Like it couldn't have been any better. Like it was right in front of the guy who was giving it to me all game. So I went right over to the glass and let him know what was up. And I'm just I'm just glad we ended up winning after giving it to him.
Yeah, you give him the point, and then you go and do like the double hand smash on the glass or whatever. Like I was crying laughing because I had no clue what's going on. I'm just like, Cardi's giving it to this guy. Like what the heck? And anyway, but then yeah, the craziest moment, you score that goal off a D zone face off with like 9 seconds left or 8 seconds left to win the game, win the series, and send Hamilton, eliminate them, which is the hardest thing to do. Like get rid of a team like that, and just it was such a crazy performance. And I knew there was no way you weren't, because you weren't signed at this point. I was like, there's no way you don't get a contract now. But I guess you had found out that morning that you were going to get one. Although we already talked about all this, so we don't need to get into it. But I was like, if he doesn't have one now, he's getting one. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I might have been playing with a little bit of extra confidence that night.
Yeah, but it was honestly like when I say it was the craziest thing as a fan, it really was, man. I was losing my mind. It was so entertaining. It was so cool. Um, so yeah, it
Yeah,
was it
man.
was really awesome,
I'm
man.
I'm glad like you before like in the like last year and stuff you hadn't picked like the best games to always come to. Like sometimes I'd score and like sometimes I'd be like just average, and especially in the playoffs last year. So I'm glad this time around like you got to see a hat trick in the regular season and then I got to do another one for you in the playoffs. So I'm
Yeah,
glad you got to see some big nights from me. That makes me happy. And I'm just like those like the OHL, like, and I was talking to like all my teammates and the younger guys after like those games and stuff like that, and just like the bus rides with all my teammates and stuff like after those games, like winning a round and stuff like that is like the coolest thing ever. And like playing in the OHL is like the coolest thing ever, and you don't appreciate it enough until it's like it's gone now. Like I'm done. I'm officially out of the OHL. So like for me to be able to look back and just say like it's it was the best 5 years of my life, and like I wouldn't trade it in for absolutely anything, you know.
yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because that was my next question. I was gonna say, how was the bus ride home after that game in Hamilton? Because man, like you said, I'm not even playing, but these bus rides for me, even like from Brock after a playoff series win or like on the Falcons, like those ones home, it's so fun. Like the vibes are so great. Like everyone's going. So what was the bus ride back to Barrie after that game? Like how was that?
Yeah, no, we were just juiced on the bus. Like boys put some tunes on, you know, trying to figure out where we're all going to hang out, and like just kind of have some laughs and just sit back and enjoy it. And yeah, like you obviously know you got one day, you got one night, you got that night, and then you're right back to work for the next series. So we're all just excited. Really enjoyed it because it's cool, right? Like to win in a series is like it's an accomplishment. Like you take pride in that. So we were really excited, and that was definitely a really nice bus ride home.
And yeah, before we even move on to the second round for you guys against North Bay, I wanted to ask you about Kitchener sweeping Windsor. And like for those who don't know, who don't follow the OHL, I mean pretty OHL heavy episode, but there you go. Next year it'll be a pretty AHL heavy podcast, I imagine. So Windsor finished first place in the regular season. They were sick. Traded for Shane Wright. They bulked up. and then Kitchener, who just squeaked in the playoffs there, swept them. Not even just beat them in the first round, they swept them. And I guess that was the first time ever in OHL history that an 8 seed swept a 1 seed. So, what did you think as like an OHL player? Like, what did you think of all that, and how did your teammates react? Like everything.
Yeah, like I honestly like to be like completely transparent here. I thought Kitchener would win the series. Um, there was something about that team that like I thought that they were good all along. They were the type of team who they had all the pieces. They had all the pieces all year
Yeah.
long. Like they loaded up, but they just couldn't. I don't know, for whatever reason it wasn't clicking in the regular season. Like it just couldn't get it all to work at once. And sure enough, boom, first round. As soon as that first round hit, it all came together for them, and they kind of just absolutely exploded in that first round. And to win in four was it's a big accomplishment, and they played really well. Was I surprised it went in four? Absolutely. Did I think it would have been seven if they had a one? Yes, 100%. So to see it happen in four, we were all kind of all just in shock. None of us ever doubted the abilities of the Rangers, but just to see it go down like that with such a star-studded lineup in Windsor as well, it was definitely a little bit like, wow, this is pretty wide open this year. Anyone could do it.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then even your old team, Saginaw and Flint, in that first round, they went to Game 7, the Battle of Michigan. Like that must have been so sick for both those fan bases and those players. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, again, like that battle there, the I-75 Cup during the regular season, it's get taken intensely, but I could only imagine during the playoffs with fans only being 30 minutes away, they can drive back to each and forth and or back and forth between each game. And no, it would have been a hell of a lot of fun. And I heard from my old billets, and they said it was a great experience, and the crowd was rocking and people were excited and everything like that. But I also wanted to get your thoughts on, and we were talking about Kitchener not being able to like fully click during the regular season and stuff. And there's another team who was like that in the OHL, and that was the Peterborough Petes this year. And obviously now they just won literally minutes ago. They just won the Eastern Conference. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean they loaded up as well, and um, we're gonna have to get Owen Beck on here. We'll get him, I'm sure, but that's one I'd love to talk to him. They have great pieces. They've been good for a couple years now. Like they've been loading up year after year after year, and they've kept making runs and not getting the success that they've wanted. And I think um, I know there's more of a turnover year to year in the OHL, but like, and last year maybe wasn't their best year, but other than that, before that, it was those guys who are still around, like Sean Spearing, who's been there for a while, their captain, like they're bringing a culture of like winning and wanting to win and being there. That I think from the leadership group down, um, like they're really passing that winning culture down, and now with them loading up, getting the pieces they want, multiple first round picks on that team, it's their time. And they took down North Bay Game 7. We'll get into you guys in North Bay too, but I think it's wide open in the final now because London's out there, their starting goalie, right? And our Falcons goalie is backing up for the Knights now, so that's sick for him. Um,
I
so
did see, I saw that.
yeah. But I
That's
mean,
cool.
let's talk about the North Bay series. So that game one, when you guys were on the road, you came back and won in overtime. Like, how was that? How crazy? How good did that feel?
Yeah, that one felt nice. That one felt really good because you're not expected to go win game one in somebody else's barn, especially as the lower seed. They might have been a little bit favored in the series and stuff. So for us to go out and steal game one, that was a good feeling. Especially in overtime too, and an unsung hero on our team for Kavanaugh to get the goal. I think he only had one in the regular season, so for him, we were so excited for him, and just to have that personal success that obviously gave our team the success and gave us the win. So we were really excited after that one.
Yeah, it was sick. And then the game two, you guys lost, and Evan Vierling goes down that game with an injury, and that's a big loss for your team. Obviously, like the team's leading scorer, your line mate, just a great guy too. Um, how is he now? Like, is he better? Like, what's up with Veers?
He's doing better. That was one of the hardest um things I've seen in hockey. Like I was right there on the play, and I didn't really know what had happened in the moment. And it all happened so quick. But when I went to go see Veers, I just my stomach dropped for him and for our team. Obviously, you never want to lose a player like that, and in the circumstances that had happened and stuff, and inevitably, it definitely did hurt us. Anytime you lose a top player like that, a guy who contributes every night, it's gonna really sting, and that one did sting, and obviously we ended up losing that game, and as everyone knows now, we lost the series. But with a factor like him in there, um, who could it have changed things? You could sit here all day and say it would have and it could have, but no, that's just the cards we were dealt, and I'm just I, I just like pitted like that. That was like kind of like the way that it had to go, like for the end of his career, and for myself to lose my line mate in those circumstances. Like I wanted to do something special with him just because of the amount of success that we had in the regular season together and the kind of the bond we created and the chemistry. So I was really looking forward to hopefully hoisting the trophy at the end of the year with him. But you know what? He's on to bigger and better things now. Everything will get sorted. He's going to be a good pro hockey player for a long time. So but it was definitely hard to see him go like that.
Yeah, and the series continues on. You guys trading wins, and ultimately it comes back to Game 6 at home, a must win for you guys. And you got it done, right? Yeah, I got that right. You were down and you got
Yeah.
the Game 6 win at home. Like, how was that? How crazy was that? Like, I
No,
know it must have been so crazy. Just the city, everyone must have been talking about it, right?
yeah, like it was a pretty big thing for us. Like we had lost game 6 the year before, and a lot of guys returning from that group. So we kind of had a bad taste in our mouth about losing game 6 at home, and I think a lot of us learned from that game. And the way that we played in our home rink in the Sadlon Arena was absolutely incredible all season long, in the back half of the year anyway. So for us to go back, we were so comfortable in that game 6, and I think we knew we were going to win that one, and we did our job, and we did, and we forced a game 7. And I think everyone who plays hockey knows game 7's pretty much a toss up at that point. I mean, you got two teams who have split it 3 games and 3 games. They're pretty dead even. Everything's been tested, and it just comes to who maybe gets a bounce or gets a break or who has an off night. And game 7 for us, it was great environment there in North Bay. Um, we were playing the perfect hockey game, man. Up 1-0 in the third period, and you run into a couple penalties, and you fall in on the wrong side of it. And we ended up going out 3-1 with an empty netter, and that's a game I'll never forget. It was very emotional for me, being my last OHL game with a group that I thought we were ready to win the championship. So to go out like that really really stung, but it's also another learning experience that I can take forward with me for the rest of my career, being a part of that game 7, knowing the feeling, and just never wanting to have that feeling of losing again, because boy, oh boy, that killed.
Yeah, I mean, Game 7s are crazy, man. Have you played in a Game 7 before? I know probably with SAG on that run, you might have gotten in one or at least watched one, but have you played one?
Uh, yeah, no, I hadn't played one yet. Like that was my first game 7, but I was a part of the one where we lost in the conference finals in Saginaw. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
on the ice, but there and like went along for the ride with that one. So 0-2 in game 7s in my career. So gonna have to clean that one up going into my pro career.
Yeah, man. And for the Falcons this year, we lost in Game 7 in the second round too. Um, and it's just there's something about like you battle the same team, the same opponent for 2 weeks, just going at it, and then it all comes down to one game. Like the whole day leading up to it, like it all comes down to that. So crazy. And then
Crazy. It makes you think almost like why'd we do these other 6 games? It's all coming down to one. Like it's so close and so tightly contested that you just don't know. You don't know. You just gotta put your best foot forward and hope you come out on the right side of things. But I mean, the effort part I can't complain about, and I'm sure you guys and the Falcons can't complain either. You know every guy's going to give it their all and want
oh
to win
yeah.
the game. So you got to hang your hat on that and just believe that everyone left it all out there. And you know what? That game just wasn't meant to be.
But you know what? Well, first of all, like you kind of said too, that experience from the game, it's important for you going forward because you're probably going to play in another game seven at some point in your career, and you know the feeling, like you know how the emotions get into it. But even saying it wasn't meant to be or whatever that game, there's 20 seconds left and Jelsma gets the penalty shot. And I was like, there's hope. There's because you guys were down two.
Yeah,
And I was like, he's gonna score this, and then there's time. Like you've had these late game heroics already this year, this playoffs. But
yeah,
then even Chentis made the
yeah.
save, and that was it.
He shut the door, and that's actually a guy I got to give so much credit to. That goalie played the lights out, and so did Thornton for us. Both goalies all series just unreal, trading blows, just back and forth and stuff like that. So it was as much as it sucks to come out with a loss in that series and stuff. It was a lot of fun to be a part of and just play in that type of intensity of hockey and stuff like that. And yeah, that pretty much wrapped up the OHL career right there, and she was all said and done and moving on.
Yeah, on to bigger and better things, I guess. On to the pro career, turn the page. But before we wrap up our OHL playoffs here and get into some fan questions and stuff, what about predictions for the finals? Peterborough versus London. What do we think?
Um, I mean, I got buddies on both teams. Don't really. I honestly have no idea, man. Like it's so hard because Peterborough, like we said, is a team who's come on really strong in the last month. A team I would have loved to have played, but obviously I'm sitting here watching them. Um, and, and London's a team that, I mean, I don't know. Like we only played them twice. It's hard to tell, but going into the Budweiser Gardens there, it's got to be a little bit messing with your mind when there's 9,000 people there at an OHL game in the playoffs and stuff. So I'm not gonna make a prediction, but I'm certain that you got a good one for us. So let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I mean, if London has their goalie, like Brett Brochu is their goalie, who's
Well, let
injured.
me
I don't.
tell you though, man, that their backup's no slouch. That kid's had an
Yeah,
unbelievable year.
yeah, exactly. But I just feel like when you lose your starter, who's like also one of the top goalies in the league, like that's such a big hit against such a talented offense. And if Brochu's healthy, like I'd for sure be picking London. I think I still will pick London. I think I might have to go London in seven, man. I think this thing might go seven.
I,
Um,
I think for sure it goes 7.
yeah, it'll be a thriller, no doubt. But I mean, London looks good, man. They got champions on their team. They got half the Bulldogs from last year on their team. So
Yeah, they've done a good job there of a winning team there for sure.
yeah, so I'm gonna go on the Knights, but I'd be so happy to see Peterborough win. Um, so I'm yeah, I don't know. I'm happy either way, but it'll be a good final. So we can get into some fan questions and stuff here. But actually one more I had this noted. I wanted to talk about it earlier, but I kind of forgot. Um like a while ago, I don't know, at some point between our last episode and now, I went bowling and you did too, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just thinking when I was there, why you're looking at me with this face, but why do we have to wear bowling shoes? Like, why can't, and this is a genuine question, like, why can't I ask the person, like, they're like, oh, you need to get bowling shoes. Like, I was like, can I wear my own shoes? They're like, no. But like, what is possibly the reason that you actually have to put on other shoes to go bowling?
Well, probably because they don't want the thing to get dirty, like the I don't know, like the hardwood to get dirty. Think like
Do you think that's
you're
it?
bringing in, I don't know, like it's got like they got these floors all waxed up and stuff properly. They probably want shoes that are just like clean on the bottom. Now, do I think they need to look like clown shoes? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I
why
think
do they
they could
look
give
so
us,
dumb?
yeah, I wish I think they could give us a decent looking pair of shoes, but hey, that's the hand we're dealt. And yeah, no, I hate putting bowling shoes on though, let me tell you. I like if you whoever knows me knows like I'm big like I need things to be in order. Like I like things nice and clean and stuff. So when I put on those bowling shoes and think about the thousands of other people who've just been sweating in those things and stuff, it just make gives me the ick.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like, because they just get them back and they're just like, okay, spray. They just spray something and put them down. It's like you just handed me this shoe. They're like
And
rotten on the inside, like the leather's falling off. Like it's like, why do I have to wear this? Like, what does it matter? I wear my own
yeah.
shoes. Like, I don't know. It was such a weird one. But how's your bowling game?
It's actually not bad. Like I don't know if it's. I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know what the standard of good is. I shot a one like 58 or 160.
I'd
It
say that's good. I feel like 150 is like above average for a guy who doesn't like if you're just
yeah,
bowling every now and then.
yeah, but I'm weird though. I throw this like little underhand spinner thing because like when I throw it like properly, I can't. So I like kind of release it with like my fingers and just like let it roll out like that.
What, like
Um,
with your hand facing that way? You go like the like
yeah, like my knuckles are facing the thing, and I just kind of like let it slide out of my hands, and it's like it keeps it lower to the floor and gets it online quicker. So like I don't get any of the side spin to get like the strike every time, but like I can normally hit it right down the middle, and then my strike probability is like pretty decent. So like I get quite a few strikes, but um spares and stuff sometimes I miss out on. That's why my points aren't high. How about you?
yeah. I think I'm kind of the same. I'm like I'm going for the strikes. I'm getting a good amount of strikes, but yeah, picking up spares isn't my forte. But I had a good score. I think I scored like close to 200 in one game. I was also under 100 in one game, I think. So I don't know, man.
Jeez, you're all over the map. You got to clean up your
But yeah,
consistency there.
but you know what it was that game? I was throwing a really heavy ball, like, and I switched to a bit of a lighter one, and it made a huge difference.
No, your
Um,
ball makes a huge difference. You need to use the same one each time too.
yeah. But how's your golf game too? Before we get into the fan questions, I know I was with
Yeah,
Jake Yetman yesterday. He said you guys were golfing or something.
yeah. I've been out a few times now. I'll have to get you out to Oshawa here, or I
Yeah,
can come up and we talked about me coming up to Niagara and stuff. But I have to get you out to Oshawa here to play soon. But my game's okay. Like it's crazy though, man. Like I the especially at the start of the year because I haven't really hit balls in 8 months or whatever. I've been so like focused on hockey. So I come back and like one day I'll shoot like a 72 and the next day I'll be like 79 and then I'll mix in it like a I'll play nine and I'll shoot like three under on nine and it's just like where is the consistency? Like one day I'll go and I'll know how to hit the ball like I'm the man and the next day I'll go out there and I'll be like I'm an absolute hack. Like what is wrong with me today? So
yeah,
it's been all
79.
over the place.
I'm not feeling it. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Anyway, have you got out yet?
Yeah, I've been out a bunch, man, and I've been hitting the range. Like I'm on the grind this summer. I told myself I'm putting
You
in the
were like the
work this
first
summer.
person I ever seen this year. Sorry to cut you off, but you were literally out on. I'm like, this is the first day it's gotten like to maybe like 6 degrees, 7 degrees, and I see a story on Instagram or whatever of you out playing. I'm like, this guy really wants to get better this year, eh?
It was February, I think, my first round, late February, and there was snow on the course still, but just on the side, like in the shady part, so it was fine. And that round wasn't
It
good.
was on the
First
side where
round,
the ball goes every time.
I was, you know what? I was pretty good. I was pretty good. I mean, I shot. It was okay. First round of the year, no driving range warm up, nothing like, and I shot 100. And
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
for me, like first round of the year, I'm taking that. I'm absolutely taking that.
Yeah,
And then I had a cup. Yeah, like I don't know, man. I kind of cheated the last couple of times I've been around, so I don't really know what my score was because you know, like sometimes you
I
hit a couple bad
cheated.
shots and you're just like, okay, I'm just not counting this, like because it wasn't a competitive game. It was like with my buddies. Um, so I kind of
I've
cheated.
kind of, I actually respect the honesty out of you because nobody really admits that. Like when a guy pocket drops or not even pocket, but does a redo, sometimes he won't admit it at the end of the round. He'll boast his chest in the air and be like, "Oh yeah, I shot my good old 81 today." No, you didn't. You shot 87. So at least you're saying 100 with a little asterisk on it.
Yeah, and I didn't even cheat like pocket drops. I just like would re-tee and not count it, like that type of cheating where everyone was like
Yeah,
aware I was doing it.
I mean, you mix in. You need a mulligan. You're a
Yeah.
recreational player. Nothing
I
wrong
took a
with a
couple
mulligan.
mulligans. I took a few, but it's the game is getting better overall. Um I think you'd be impressed seeing like you know what? I have so much potential to be good, man. Like if you remember when we went at in Stouffville at Spring Lakes and I ripped four pars
Yeah,
in a row to start the match. Like I could be good. Um
yeah, no, you definitely have the potential. I think you just need to get out to the range more and just
yeah,
get
that's
your
what it is.
consistency there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get some good clubs at some point too. I think some of my club
Well,
heads are
that
like
makes a big difference. Yeah,
I
your clubs aren't up to par.
I think yeah, and part of it, I think part of them like the lies on the clubs are different now because some of them like I've hit the dirt like 5 feet before my ball a couple too many times where I think the club head is like twisted at a bit of a different angle from
Oh
each
God.
club.
Oh God, man.
And I'm not even just saying
You've
that. Like I
you've
actually think that's true.
you've chunked yourself out of an iron set. You've chunked it.
I
That's
wish I was
actually so
joking, but
good.
I'm actually serious. Like they do feel different
No,
like when I hold it the angles. Um
I
anyway, we
respect
can
the
get into some
honesty out of
fan
you.
questions
But
here, man. And we'll wrap it up.
yeah, let's do
This has been fun, but so yeah, we got a bunch, but I picked a few. So on the golf uh topic, actually, first one from friend of the show, Ethan Keppen. Cardsy, what's your training plans for the summer slash golf with Rask? So we'll get golfing, we'll get it going. But what's your training plans for
it.
the summer? I did want to ask that.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the same gym I've been going at for years now. Um, Work out there 5, 6 times a week. Just Monday through Friday normally, and then the odd Sunday here and there. But yeah, Monday through Friday there every morning, and then from there, typically I'll go skate. I'll try to skate like right now I'm taking a break, letting my body recover. I'm back in the gym, but then I'll try to skate like 3 times a week in the summer, probably four towards the end of the year, to really ramp things up before camp. Um, but yeah, so I normally go work out and then I skate, and then typically after that, I go to the golf course with a few of my buddies, and we'll throw the sauna on, sweat it all out, get a nice sauna in, feel fresh, have a nice cold shower, and then we hop on the course and typically play from like anywhere from like 11:30 to 1 each day. We'll tee off and finish around 5 o'clock. Get to come home. If I'm lucky enough, and my parents or my grandparents made me a nice, beautiful dinner, and I eat that, I typically watch a little bit of sports, and then it's sheets for me. The biggest thing actually is what I've noticed when I'm in the off season, I go to bed so early because like I don't have like the boys there. Like I don't know, like you're like when I was living in Barrie, I was living with two other guys, so it's just like whatever. We just shoot the shit till late at night or like just hang out and stuff. When I'm at home, I'm just like, oh well, I got to train early tomorrow morning. I might as well just go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes a ton of sense. But yeah, one question I have as well about your training, and then I'm sure our listeners do if I have the question, but is there like something specifically you want to get better at? Like I know you're going to be doing different stuff every time around the ice, whatever, but is there something you have in mind or something San Jose's told you like we want you to work on this?
You know, we have like there's nothing really as a whole. Like there's some things on the ice I want to work on. Obviously just fine tuning your game and kind of getting better at every area is obviously the main focus and stuff, but just continuing to like work on my release and work on like battle strength and stuff like that in the corner. And that goes right into like the off season training. Like the biggest thing for me is like you see the game now, it's so fast. So um every summer you got to try to get stronger, you got to try to get faster, and then also it's like just continuing to put on like as much muscle and as much like strength as you can so that when you're battling against a guy who has man strength you can compete.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. That's good. Moving on. All these fan questions are for you basically as always, which is totally fine. No one wants to ask me anything, but okay. Um Cardsy, do you have a favorite do you have a favorite memory from your junior career? This has got to be a tough one.
Honestly, like this is like a really tough one. Like this is something I'd have to really think about, and it wouldn't have anything to do with hockey. Like it would have nothing to do with the on ice stuff. It's literally just like all the time that you spend with your teammates, man. It's actually incredible, and like you can become so close with your billet families too along the way, and they've been amazing and everything like that. So like it's literally just probably the nights where all the boys would come to my house and we'd chill in the basement and play cards or play some PS5 or just watch a hockey game, play some ping pong. Like the list goes on and on about just like things you do away from the arena with your like closest friends who make the 5 years so incredible. And like that's what I mean. Like I was so emotional talking about it with like my teammates afterwards, but like you really just have to enjoy it. And Everyone says the same thing, but when I came into the league, they told me that too when I was 16, and I'm like, whatever, man. Like you're just old, you're just sour that you're done and stuff, and I'm just fired up. I'm starting her off, and now here I am preaching the same thing. So like I think the people, this is totally off topic, but I'm giving life advice now to our young listeners, I guess. But the people who understand that it doesn't last forever and you need to appreciate it are the ones who really enjoy it the most, because I think some guys like let time fly by and let moments go by that they could really cherish if they realize that it is so cool the moment that they're in and they will never get this back.
Yeah, it's really well said. I was thinking that all year, and you kind of got the sense of it from me too, where I was when we were talking, I was like, I'm just so happy to be here watching your games, like, because I know I won't be able to do this forever. Like I was saying that to you, like, and it was
Yeah.
so like I was living in the moment too, and just for you to get that Hattie going back to that, like, but
Yeah.
I was enjoying it big time because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna get to see you play is. So I was just yeah,
Yeah.
like similar to you, like living in that game, just for me to be there and to watch and to like see you play. It was fun for me. Like it was a fun playoff run.
Yeah, I know it's a wild thing, man. And just like, yeah, and yeah, like I'm moving out. Like you go so far away, and you're playing in the states and stuff now, and yeah, your family doesn't get to see you as much. All of that stuff plays a factor in it. When in reality, yeah, like and you do take so many games for granted in the OHL when you really shouldn't.
Yeah, 100%. And I just realized we're gonna have to deal with this time zone change when we're recording and stuff when you're in San Jose. That's gonna be brutal for me, not for you.
Yeah.
It's gonna suck. um, but
Oh,
anyway, so speaking of San Jose, what is Cardsy looking forward to in San Jose? Slash, can we expect to see Rask as a Sharks fan? There we go. This will answer your question. The shirt I'm wearing my San Jose Sharks shirt. I love the Sharks. If there's ever a Leafs Sharks Stanley Cup final, maybe we'll have to see. But I mean, I'm always gonna cheer for Cardsy. I really don't know if it was you versus the Leafs at the final. I hope it doesn't ever happen. Um,
you'd be in such a mental pretzel. You might just lock yourself in your room for 7 days and just don't even find out what happens, or
yeah, I
two
just
weeks or
pretend
whatever.
it never happened. But I mean, because yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even want to like imagine having to root against you. Like that would be brutal. But then I'm just like, if I watch you sit and beat my Leafs that we finally make it to the cup, like it would suck too. So I don't know. Let's just. But I'm a
I
Sharks
hope
fan.
I hope I would absolutely love for that to happen one day, because that means I'm in a Stanley Cup final. So I would never complain about that situation as hard as it would be for you. I'd be soaking it up.
I'd just rather you go to the final, not against the Leafs. Um, but
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm a Sharks fan. I'm a Sharks fan. So there we go. Sharks are now my second favorite team. But Cardsy, what are you looking forward
Question
to in
and
San Jose?
ask. Oh, the weather.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. I mean, we sit here in Ontario. I've grown up in Ontario my entire life, and you get so much snow in the winter. So to be able to get in the sun and kind of enjoy that year round would be one of the biggest perks of San Jose. I'd say.
Yeah. And among the most expensive cost of living cities in the entire NHL. And what's funny, because you're likely gonna start in the AHL and it's the same most expensive cost of living, but on an AHL salary now instead of a show salary, right? So it's gonna
Uh,
be a tough one.
yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be there. I do whatever to be there, so I'm never gonna make a complaint about anything. You know.
Yeah. That's my finance brain just going off.
Yeah, exactly. You're thinking about everything. You got to run all these things. I'm just like smiling and like, oh my god, I'm here.
Yeah, no, it'll be sick. I mean, it would be absolutely sick. But um question here, why why did you sign now instead of waiting a little bit more and becoming a free agent and choosing your team?
Oh, I think that's pretty simple. I mean, like that's an interesting question, because like, yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen. You obviously really hope you sign with the team that drafts you. And for me, it was like soon as that phone rang from them, I was like all over it. I was super excited to get it done and stuff. And it part and part is because I've had such a absolutely incredible relationship with the staff that has worked there and everyone who's kind of been a part of the Sharks organization and has helped me and kind of led me along to where I eventually got to. And then obviously going down there for the camps and stuff, I realized like it's a beautiful place. The trainers, the management, the coaches,
The
and
shampoo.
most of all the yeah, exactly. The teammates and stuff too, man. Like just like all the guys are great guys. So like for me, as soon as they called, it was wow, this is my dream. Ever since I was drafted, that was my dream, and then it was a dream to sign. So no, I was just super excited. I'm just looking forward to going ahead with this group and the people that I know in the area that I'm comfortable with now. And no, it was 100% what I wanted from day one. So.
Yeah. So, question from me: have you thought about living arrangements yet? Like, are you, you got buddies there? We've had many of them on the podcast. Like, are you texting guys like you want to live together? Like, or have you thought about it at all?
I mean, you don't really like you still like you never know like you need a housing letter and stuff like that, but there's definitely like there will be ideas like I heard the guys last year at dev camp they kind of start figuring it out then in like July and then really nail it down so that in September when hopefully you receive your housing letter and stuff like that that it's all taken care of and you're ready to move forward. But me personally, I haven't really thought about anything yet to be honest with you.
How's your cooking game? And we always ask everyone else, and I don't know if we've asked you this.
It's it's actually pretty good, and I'm gonna be getting an air fryer for sure.
Oh yeah.
So get the air fryer going. I can cook up some. I make really good fish. That's the air fryer, but I get like nice little sauce that I put on top, homemade, and then I can make a steak like nobody. And then breakfast is simple. I love making breakfast. I'm like the big like if like people are hanging out like or whatever, I always make the breakfast. So like I my go-to would be like if I'm just making it for myself and I make this every day. So it's like I put five eggs, five eggs in, scramble them up a bit. Then I throw hash browns in, get those all fried up nicely. So the hash browns are in there with the eggs. And then I'll sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top. And then instead of like cooking bacon, I have like those little fine bacon bits that I
Oh yeah.
sprinkle in there as well. So then I'm laughing, dude. And this is like a show going on. And then I put it all together. Then sometimes I'll throw some onions on top, have that on top, and then put some barbecue sauce or
No, you just
ketchup.
ruined it.
No, man,
Barbecue
barbecue
sauce
sauce with
on eggs?
but I'm a huge Sweet Baby Ray's guy. Like I love Sweet Baby Ray's
That's
sauce.
this might
So
be a controversial take by you, man.
I'll try it and then come back to me and argue it.
I think we should get a poll going on this one. I think we should interact with the listeners on this one.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
get a poll going.
Barbecue on eggs. Mix it in. Does you wonders. If you like barbecue sauce.
I can't see this being good at all.
Do you
Barbecue
like
sauce
barbecue
on eggs.
sauce?
Yeah, not on eggs though at all. I can't see
Yeah.
myself liking it there. And I guess I don't love
How do you
barbecue sauce as it is. I definitely don't dislike it, but it's not like my go-to. But I no, not on eggs.
Okay, but anyway, I make a beautiful masterpiece and then get some of my
Oreos on eggs
barbecue sauce.
though. Oreos on egg. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
you're
kidding. I'm kidding.
sicko.
I'm
You're a
kidding. It was a
sicko.
joke. They'd probably be
Anyway,
good
we'll,
though.
we'll resolve. So do me a favor, throw some barbecue sauce on your eggs next time, and then we'll talk about it next week.
All right, you got a deal. Okay. I mean that basically wraps up the last one. The last question was at Rask Leafs in 7 question mark, and the answer is an obvious yes. So Leafs are gonna get it
I
done.
love,
We'll see.
I love how loyal you are. You're a good fan. I wish you better bring these same. Yeah, you do. You bring the same spirit wherever I'm playing, so there's no doubt in that.
Yeah, no, I'm a supporter, but I support the Leafs, man. Everyone's quitting on them, dude. I saw a
No,
tweet
I know,
today.
I know. I give.
Someone said Florida's won 6 games in a row. The Leafs only have to win 4. It's Florida
I
just won
saw.
six in
I
a row.
saw that.
Yeah, we can do
I know. I
4.
saw. I saw that tweet. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that wraps it up. I mean, you wanna take away with the outro here?
Rask, if the Leafs win, would you shave your head?
I mean, I want to say I would shave my head for a Leafs win. Like if I would shave my head now if it like guaranteed a Leafs win, but I'm not gonna do it if the Leafs win. So that's I'll say that.
Okay, okay, let's do this. If the Leafs win the cup, you shave your head.
Yeah, I'll shave my head if the Leafs win the cup. Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so I'll be cheering for the Leafs now. Because I want to see you bald. I could care less, but I want to see you
I'm
bald
buzzing it
now.
though. I'm buzzing, not bald, like just buzzing it.
A buzz cut. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
but it has to be tight.
Yeah, I'll go with tight buzz.
But yeah, I mean, I've had a long time to kind of think about my next outro. With our little break there, and like I said before, I really just want to thank you and Rask from both of us. Just like thanks for sticking around, thanks for staying with us. Um, and yeah, I'm happy to be back. Rask is pumped to be back. I know that we've been talking a lot. I'm just super excited for hitting you guys with some heat all summer here. It's going to be unreal. We've got some big interviews lined up. We've been working on some stuff behind the scenes in the off time. So don't worry, we haven't left you hanging. And from the boys at Showbound, we'll catch you next week. And we're real excited for what's to come.